What's up, YouTube? Mini Minchino here, and welcome back to the Minnycast. For those who are new, this is the weekly podcast vlog type show where I share with you some updates and talk to you about something for like 10-20 minutes. Who knows? But yeah, how are you guys doing today? It's been super gloomy and dark and blah, but I'm doing pretty good otherwise. So hopefully you guys are as well. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into things with some updates. First being Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I talked last week about debating on canceling it, and I haven't really gotten too much feedback on it, to be honest, but I am thinking, just the more I think about it, the more I feel like it might be the right thing to do. Is I think that I might consider ending it, to be honest, because I just kind of, like, I've just been thinking about recording it, and I'm like, I don't think I want to. I really don't think I want to. I might put one more video out just explaining this, because I don't want, like, the series to just cut off without an explanation at least. So if I'm gonna end it, I'm at least gonna tell people why within that LP kind of thing. So that might be a thing. So I hope you guys understand, but again, I don't want to do something that I'm not, like, as passionate about. However, I have been pretty passionate about Ellen. It's been an interesting series. I did it for Halloween. Halloween has come and gone, but it's not over yet. So if you're still wanting to celebrate Halloween, I guess you can keep watching Ellen. Or if you're just into horror stuff, keep watching Ellen. Because that is absolutely getting finished. I'm way too curious to figure out what happens. So yeah, that is a thing. And I think that's actually it for updates, to be honest with you. And we have quite an extensive topic for today. So, you know, we are basically just going to jump into it and see what goes down. So, the topic for today was, if you had any question to ask a blind person, what would you ask? I didn't really get too many responses about it. I did put a thing up on my Discord and Twitter about it and things like that. But, you know what? That is okay. I got a response, which is super awesome. And I also decided, since I really wanted to do this topic today, that I would actually just look up some questions and just kind of use those. So I will link that source in the description, so you guys can check things out for yourself and maybe look at other people's answers and see what perspective they give as well. Because the thing is, there's so many, it's such a broad thing that you're gonna encounter, like, different perspectives wherever you go. So my answers will not apply to everybody, but I will answer to the best of my ability. So the first, I guess, question, separate from that article I linked, was sent in by DJ. And he was asking, like, what are some of the general everyday struggles you deal with that we wouldn't normally think about? And actually, this is my second time recording this, so I'm trying to think of what I said before. Definitely one would be traveling around in wintertime, and I'm sure a lot of people struggle with that just in general. But it's really hard to navigate when, you know, the white cane will not show you where the you know, street meets the sidewalk, because there's kind of a bunch of snow in the way, and I don't know, sidewalks don't really get cleaned regularly around here, which kind of sucks. So yeah, that makes it difficult. Not impossible, but definitely not pleasant, for sure. So, you know, I definitely don't want to, like, whine about these, you know, because, like, none of what I'm talking about is impossible, but, like, it's definitely not the best, you know? Another thing I've dealt with in particular is certain stoves, particularly my current one, Especially the oven controls, like the actual dials for the burners, like those are, I can deal with those just fine. But like, you know, when it comes to turning on the oven, the buttons are completely flush, so I can't like feel where they are. So it's kind of annoying. I have to use my phone's magnifier to get around that, so I can actually like read the buttons and find them that way. So it's like, again, not a difficult thing to work around, but it's just kind of like, man, I really wish there was like tactile buttons, because then I could just more easily memorize where they are and just like, you know, press the buttons and I'm good. Excuse me, but yeah, I suppose that is another struggle, I guess. I was also gonna like say like, you know, driving a car, but like that's straight up impossible. I'm never gonna be able to drive just because like my I'm pretty sure my vision will eventually deteriorate further, which sucks. So I suppose I struggle with that fear, if that counts. I don't know. It's kind of a thing, I guess. I can't really think of too many off the top of my head right now, though, to be honest with you. And that kind of sucks. I mean, I could say, you know, reading things. And to be fair, as obvious as that one is, I can actually, like, if I have a decent magnifying glass or whatever, I will do a lot of reading. I used to do a lot of reading, but, you know, I struggle more so with eye strain than I do with reading itself, to be fair. In terms of reading other stuff, like other things like, I don't know, notices from my building or any mail. Again, my phone's magnifier comes in really handy for that kind of thing, so, it's a little bit of a thing, but not a big deal to overcome, so, you know, it kind of works out. If I think of more, I'll probably do like a part 2 to this, so if you guys have your own questions that you'd like to ask, I would love to hear them. But for now, I'm gonna move on to the good old internet, because I found a little article, titled, like, 5 questions you've always wanted to ask a blind person. You know, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna answer these with my own perspective. Again, absolutely check out the link in the description for the article itself. You can read someone else's point of view, so you get 2 perspectives for the price of 1, I guess. So there you go. We're just gonna dive into it. Question number 1. Do people who lose their sight later in life have the ability to learn Braille? The short answer to that is yes. Some people might take to it more easily than others, but it's just like learning anything else. It's possible if you put your mind to it, you know? And if you're not down with it, it's not happening. But, you know, it doesn't affect, you know, blindness doesn't affect the way you learn. So if you can learn anything else, then you can learn Braille, given enough time and effort, you know? I feel like, I don't know, it's just like anything, you know? When you try to learn something, sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm gonna move on to the next question. I'm so sorry, you guys. What is the right way to guide someone who is blind? First things first, communicate with the person, see what they need, see what they want. Generally, I will just tell someone, I can just follow you because I have enough vision for that. Some people, however, will, you know, probably ask to take your elbow, and you just lead them that way on your elbow and stuff. When I was in school, actually, and even when I tried to volunteer for the CNIB, I didn't end up volunteering for them for, I had to move, and I just didn't end up going back to them just yet, which is kind of a bummer, actually. I should consider, or reconsider. But, either way, during that training, they would actually, like, there was, there's an actual procedure so that you can make sure that you're not guiding people into doors and stuff like that. Like, if they're holding your elbow and you're going through a door, generally you bring your arm that they're holding kind of behind you so that they know to, to walk behind you kind of thing. So that you can both fit through this door that wouldn't fit you if you're going side by side, Same thing with getting around certain obstacles and stuff. Also, there's always, obviously, you're talking to the person, you communicate, That's the biggest thing, is just communicate, see what they need, figure out what's going on first, before you make a call. It's always cool to see someone trying to help out, but absolutely the first thing that should be done is communicate. Don't assume, just go ahead and be like, hey, what do you need help with, And I think from there, you can figure it out with that person. So it kind of works out that way. Next question. I'm like talking too much and not giving myself time to breathe. It's not good. Okay, next question. Do blind people have any sensation of light or color? Yes. Not all of them, but yes. For some that have a little bit of vision, like myself, I have usable vision, so I can see that I'm sitting on my bed. I can see that my comforter is blue. I can see the cupboard right next to my door. Not in great detail from this distance, but I can see that it's there. I can tell there's several drawers in there, I can't give you any defining features of it. It just looks like a big old brown block with handles for the drawers and stuff, I guess. But and those, to me, at this point, just look like little circles. So it's just like little circles, It's whatever. But even someone with worse vision, I can't talk, you guys. Even with somebody with a little worse vision than me, some people will still be able to see, some shapes and colors. Some people just shadows. Some people just light. It really depends on the condition and the severity of it. So, yeah, I think the short answer is yes and no, technically, but it's very dependent on the individual and their condition. And the next question, do blind people completely trust their service animals? That's an interesting one, actually. I don't think I can answer this one accurately because I've never had like a guide dog or anything like that. I know some people who have and still have, I guess, but this isn't one that I can answer completely, like properly. I would say that it would be unwise to 100% trust all the time, because from what I understand about how guide dogs in particular work is that you give them the instructions. They don't know where you're going. They're just making sure you get there safely. So yes, there is a degree of trust there, but you still gotta know what you're doing, and you cannot like give them all the work to do. From what I understand, it's like you're a team, you work together kind of thing. So if you're slacking, they can put in all the effort in the world, but if you're slacking, there's gonna be some problems, Now, I would say, yeah, it would be a good idea to have that level of trust with your animal and stuff like that. But again, you got to be on top of things yourself as well. I've often been told in order to even get a guide dog, you still have to know how to use a white cane and travel independently, because really they're just helping you the same way a cane would, but like not really the same way, but like it's a similar idea. They're not meant to be giving you the direction. You give them the direction and they make sure you get there, basically. So yeah, I don't really know if I can answer it beyond that, to be honest with you. 'Cause again, I've never dealt with, a guide dog firsthand kind of thing. So, it's kind of one of those things I wouldn't really know, but I would say sometimes. I don't know. We have one final question, though, that I want to move on to. It's actually a bonus question in this article here. So, how do blind people pick out what clothes to wear? There's actually a variety of ways. sometimes you can tell just based on the material of whatever you're picking out. So like sometimes like if you have a favorite shirt that's a particular texture or whatever, you'll know just based on how it feels. Some people will put markings on their labels and things, so they know, oh, this is a darker pair of pants versus a lighter one or something like that. There's always the obvious, ask for someone's opinion if you really need it kind of thing. If you have enough vision, then you can just kind of sort it out that way, so you're pretty much good. But, yeah, there's actually also an app out there. I forget what it's called, to be honest with you. But I forget, I should really look into what it's called. I don't use it myself, but it's one where you can take a picture of an object or a document or something, and basically you submit it, and someone else will look at it and describe to you what's in the picture. So if you really wanted to, you could take pictures of a couple of your shirts and stuff, lay them out on your bed or something, take pictures, send it to them, and within like a minute, you'll get a description of that particular article of clothing. So there is that. That's a whole nother way I didn't think of before. So yeah. I really feel like I skipped a question. Did I seriously skip a question? I feel like I did. I totally did. Okay, so here's the actual last question. It's actually question 4 on here. I skipped 4 and went straight to 5 and then the bonus one. So, whoops. And this is a really kind of important one, so whoopsie. What type of assistive technology do blind people rely on the most? I think that that would be screen readers for the most part, at least in terms of computer use. I don't know if the white cane technically counts, but I use that a lot when I travel, because it just kind of helps me sort of get the lay of the land ahead of me, so I can figure out, whether or not there's an obstacle in my way. But in terms of computer use, there's, magnifiers, there's screen readers like VoiceOver, that one's, on the Mac, and on pretty much every iPhone. Pretty much every Apple product these days, as far as I can tell, VoiceOver is on there, which is super nice, actually. Windows also has Narrator, JAWS, NVDA. I don't know if Window Eyes is still a thing. I haven't heard about that one in years, to be honest with you. But yeah, basically what those will do is just they're programs that let you interact with your computer, in a way that allows it to just read what's on the screen to you, which is super helpful. Also, there's magnifiers, zoom text. I think there's one called Magic or something. And, I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Windows even has a built-in magnifier now, and it does exactly what you think. Magnifies your screen, and it's super nice. I use that the most, and generally, I will use VoiceOver when I'm dealing with eye strain, and, yeah, I mean, there's also Braille displays and a bunch of other things. I used to use a CCTV, which basically, it's just a monitor hooked up to, like, a camera, and you basically, slide whatever you want to read onto, like, this mobile tray, which then you can move around, and it basically magnifies your page, and, yeah, it's super helpful. The model I used to have was incredibly clunky, but, there's a lot of, like, super sleek ones these days, and basically the iPhone's magnifier kind of acts like that anyway. It's just you're moving the device around instead of your reading materials, so it works a bit differently, but it's basically the same idea. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say about that, to be honest. Again, there's tons of other stuff out there that I don't necessarily know about because I don't really have a need to use most of it myself, so definitely look around if you're curious, and again, feel free to ask any questions you might have. I actually went through all the questions properly this time. Well, not really properly, but properly enough. I'm gonna roll with it, and I think I'm going to end up letting you go, you guys. I'm really kind of happy I did this topic. I wanted to put something a little bit more positive out there instead of personal heavy crap. And this is personal, but like, it's just kind of dealing with it in a more casual sort of way, and I'm actually okay with that. But again, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to check out any other series I have on this channel, as well as joining the Machino clan on Discord if you haven't done that already. Links to that will be in the description down below, as well as the article that I used in today's episode. And until next time, you guys, Minny out.